Hey everybody, Jack Acid here, welcoming you to round 8 of the I Am No Expert F1 2012 Season Challenge mode. And we are competing here at Suzuka in Japan. And this will be our second race with Ferrari, having come in 4th at Melbourne in our first race for Ferrari. And so now trying to finish out here and ideally beat Jenson Button, who was our targeted rival. And with any luck, if we beat him, we will get our contract offer from McLaren to finish out the season. So now starting off the qualifying session here, going to scan through the lap. And you can see getting very, very close to Hamilton near the end of the lap, but it's not going to be enough. But we are going to be able to get P3 out of it. So a very, very good qualifying session here at Japan, which I tend to be a little hot and cold on. Sometimes I can race it really, really well, and sometimes I can't. So for the purpose of the qualifying session, I was able to do a pretty good lap. And hopefully that translates here on race day. Beautiful sunny day. And I'm wondering what happens after we select our last rival. There's obviously going to be no more opportunity for rival races, so I'm not sure what'll happen. Maybe it'll just come down to a team objective, or maybe just beat your own teammate. We'll have to wait and see what happens after this race. And of course we won't find out if we lose to Jenson Button here. So starting out here behind Lewis Hamilton in the McLaren, and Vettel in the Red Bull off to the right, but now being chased down by Jenson Button heading into turn 1. And get our braking point right, and now Button falters, and there's slight contact there. Now Vettel pushing on the inside, trying to avoid contact. I almost go off track. Now trying to find real estate through the start of these S-sweeps, and finally the Red Bull is relegated to 3rd. Now we've got Hamilton in our sights coming through the last part of these S-sweep sequence corners. And very challenging left-hander here, very easy to go off into the sand there. Coming down into a very sharp right-hander, also another corner that's difficult to find your entry point. And now coming along here, dropping into second gear, get a little bit of the curb and a little slow on my exit, and Vettel's thinking about having a go. But now thinks better of it as we come up to the very, very slow hairpin. Let's see if we can make a move on Hamilton, and we're not able to find room, but we do make slight contact, and the McLaren wobbles for just a moment. And now you can see that Hamilton is very, very slow through here, able to overtake on the inside. Let's see if we can get Hamilton behind us, and we are for now. But now coming up to this extremely difficult braking point here, which you can see I get all wrong. And now Hamilton and I are wheel to wheel just for a moment. And finally able to get the car sorted out and settle back up into P1. So now leading Hamilton down this very, very long straight, coming into this very fast left-handed corner. You can usually take that in 7th gear, as long as you get your entry point right. And now coming along to the first chicane on the circuit, and misjudged my braking point completely off the track at the chicane. That's going to allow Hamilton to get by. There he is, and now almost wheel to wheel with the McLaren coming around the end of lap 1. And this is very reminiscent of our qualifying session, in which we were just about this far away from Hamilton, who was the pace leader for pole position. Now racing down into turn 1. Let's see if we can get around him here. The AI is typically slow around this corner, dropping my gears down and able to get the overtake. And I'm not alone. Sebastian Vettel also able to get the better of Hamilton there, and he moves up into P2. Now going through these sweeps, you can see I've got my entry point wrong. I should be on the other side of the circuit as I turn into them. It makes them a whole lot easier to hit. And going a little wide here. Are we going to go off track? No, we're not. Push to the edge of the circuit and almost drop 2 wheels into the grass. And now trying to keep the German behind me coming through here, and you can see that he's all over my gearbox. And let's see how close he is now. Very, very close. And let's see if he's going to try and make a move up here at the hairpin. And now that we don't have anyone in front of us, I still brake a little bit late and get my turn wrong, and that's going to give Vettel an inside look, but he's not able to take advantage. Now speeding out of the exit along this very, very long sweeping right-handed corner. And again, I'm being a little conservative here. Should be on the other side of the circuit. And this very well may be the most difficult corner for me to hit. And you can see I manage it pretty well there, but Vettel's still got a lot more speed than me. Now having a look on the inside here, and able to keep him pushed back. But you got to think that it's only a matter of time before he gets around me. And don't forget the DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. So I've got a lot to do here. Able to hit a purple sector in Sector 2. Sweeping around here, and let's see if we can get this chicane a lot better than the last time. And basically there was no last time. I missed it completely and still don't have it right. And very, very strange. Now Vettel pushing on the left-hand side. It's strange that I'm having problems there, because honestly I normally have no problems at that chicane. And maybe the pressure, I'm not sure what it is, but for whatever reason, through 2 laps, have not been able to hit it right once. Just not seeing the curb well or something, and now having more problems here in turn 2, and that's going to allow Vettel to get by. We make slight contact. Now heading into these sweeps, let's see who's got more nerve here, and you can see that we're wheel to wheel and able to get ahead of the Red Bull for now, but going to have to maintain my racing line through here because the AI is pushing very, very hard. And now here's my favorite corner where I almost go off every single time, and you can see that I'm able to somehow stay ahead of Vettel, and that was an exceptionally tight duel there. And that's the part of the circuit that you do not want to be racing with someone, but I just feared that if I let him get by that it would be basically sayonara and only P2 for me, and I'm just not ready to give up. So now coming around the hairpin and trying to give Vettel a little room. It's very easy to spin the AI out when you're trying to make your cut, and their angle is just so that you tip them, and it's an easy way to get a cheap penalty. So trying to avoid that, as you can see, I start to skip up over the curb and trying to be very, very careful through here because it's usually where I have my problems. So where I've made up in that corner, I've lost in the final chicane. And even though I've had struggles the last 2 times through, I still feel pretty confident about it. I'm just not sure what I'm not seeing right. But going to have to nail it here, otherwise we're going to be in more trouble with Vettel and Hamilton in tow. And now you can see I slow down too much, but at least able to handle the chicane cleanly, dropping it into first gear to come around that last corner. And you can see that Vettel definitely had a lot more speed than me. I did slow down earlier than I was supposed to, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have problems, and I'd rather take my chances with a slow corner than going too fast. So now coming along here to turn 1, and you can see I start to go wide, catch the car and compose myself and stay ahead of Vettel for now. And we've got just under 2 laps to stay ahead of him, and it's going to be a challenge. You can see that now starting to lose my focus a little bit and cut the corner a bit on that last sweep. And now coming around here, and this is the part of the track where I know that I should be on the right side of the track, but in the heat of battle, just very easy to forget. And this time I do go off onto the lawn, and somehow Vettel not able to get around me, probably just because of the nature of the curve there. And you can see that I'm definitely feeling the pressure coming around here. And I do not want to go wide at the hairpin. That's a very easy spot to make a mistake. And really haven't had a clean go at it yet, and you can see that I manage it better this time around, but really should be more on the inside if I can. And now you can see that the gaps are expanding a bit, which is much to my relief, at least for the moment. And let's see if they can make up some ground here through these corners, because this is where I'm usually always too slow. Right here, have to keep it into third, sometimes drop it into second gear, but able to manage it pretty well. And actually I'm hitting that corner better than I typically do when I race here. I usually have no problems at the chicane and all kinds of problems there, so I guess I'm just trading one set of corners for another. So let's see if we can get the chicane right and actually get our speed right this time. And still a little bit wide, but not going to cost me anything, clean enough. And have to be satisfied with that. Maybe we can get it on the last go, but right now leading the Grand Prix with 1 lap to go. And this is usually where pressure sets in for me. You can see I've got a pretty good gap to Vettel, almost a second, not quite. And you can see that handling turn 1 and 2, probably our best go around there, so that's good news, even though the AI is able to catch up with me. If I were to have any sets of problems there, it would be an issue. And now managing these sweeps a little bit better as well, or at least I was, as I cut off the chicane there. Don't get on the correct part of the track to make my entry, and start to make a mistake. And you can see that I'm starting to get a little wobbly here, and definitely want to zero in and focus. The AI is very, very quick through these corners here. That's mainly because I go a little bit too slow when I come into them. And you can see that Vettel is very desperate now. The AI tends to push very, very hard on the last lap, so I do not want to fall asleep at the switch. Now handling the hairpin, probably the best that we have all afternoon. And the race should be won or lost in these next set of corners coming around this curve. If I go off to the right, if I go wide here, then that's probably going to give Vettel an opportunity to steal the win. And now you can see that definitely trying to be as conservative as I can coming through there, even if it means slowing down the AI. And I don't know how many times I've gone off into the green there and let 3-4 cars go by when trying to race here at Suzuka. So feeling pretty confident now, but guess what? We've got one more go at the chicane, and we haven't had a super clean turn yet. And this time, finally, in a moment of redemption, so to speak, we're able to hit the chicane to secure the victory. and ending up here in P1 for our first win here with Ferrari, and our second win on the season after a very wet Brazil race. And so very, very satisfying to get this. And because we've beaten Jenson Button in the last 2 races, we should get our contract offer from McLaren. And so that'll be the last car that I race with on this playthrough. And was debating between the McLaren and the Red Bull, but thought I'd try McLaren first and maybe I'll try Red Bull second. I'm sure I'll go through this mode again. I'm not sure which path I'll take. I started off with Caterham and then moved my way to Toro Rosso, to the Lotus, to Ferrari, and now to McLaren. So probably have to try it, maybe starting off with Marussia or HRT, and see how far we can get, and maybe get in some Mercedes and Red Bull and so forth. Gonna leave you guys with some race highlights here. Want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you'll join me next time for round 9. I finally did look ahead on the calendar and I see that we're racing at Hockenheim, and then the final race will be at Abu Dhabi. I, for one, am really happy about Hockenheim coming back. I like it more than the Nürburgring GP circuit, so I'm looking forward to racing there. But haven't raced there since F1 2010, so I expect it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me. But I'll hope to see you guys there with me. And in the meantime, feel free to check out my channel for a number of other F1 2012 videos, and also a number of F1 2011 and Forza 4 videos with commentary. And you can find links to those playlists in the description here. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.